In this video series, you're going to learn how to set up your own Blogger blog. We're going to go over how to set it up so that it's hosted on Blogger's own system, and we're also going to take a run through on how to host it on your own domain. The first thing you need to do in either case is set up a Google account. So you can just go to blogger.com, and then down here it says create your blog now. Just click on that, and then an account screen will come up where you can sign up for your account. So here, create your account. Just fill out all the information that is required. Click continue. After you've filled out the first page, now you can name your first blog. So just put in the blog title. What you want to do is put your keywords that you want to attract in your title here. And you should also use your main keyword in the URL down here. So what your address will be is whatever you type in here, .blogspot.com. Now just click check availability, and if it's available, then you're all set to go. Now at this point, if you were going to host it elsewhere, you would pick the advanced settings. But we're going to do that later. We're going to just show you how you set it up on the Blogger blog site. So now we click continue. At this point, you can pick how you want your site to look, and they have a number of templates in here that you can choose from. So just pick the one you want, and then just click on it, and then click continue. Now we're all ready. All we have to do now is click start blogging. And now we're into the back end of our blog. Now before we actually start posting, we're going to set some things up. The first thing we're going to want to do is set up our settings. So just click on the settings tab. Now in here you have some additional settings you can set up. What you might want to do here is put some description in here. Make sure that your main keyword is in here as well as any other secondary keywords you want to put, but be careful not to spam it. You need to make sure that you don't get too carried away with keywords and make a meaningful description here that's readable by real people, not just by search engines. Now once you have that in, you come down here and you tell it if you want your blog in the Blogger listings. This will get you traffic because people will be able to find it. If you're having a private blog, then you're going to want to set this to no. Same with down here. This is if you want to allow the search engines to find your blog. Normally you're going to want to do that, but if this is a private blog, you're going to want to set this to no as well. Here you can decide if you want to have email post links in your blog. This allows people to email the post to their friends or contacts. You can decide if you want that yes or no. Adult content, you need to set it to yes if this is an adult content blog. Compose mode, this is simply if you want the WYSIWYG editor on or off. WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. In other words, it's like a word processor. And enable transliteration. This allows you to put a button on your blog that allows people to translate it to another language. And then all you have to do is save your settings. Okay, so there we go. Our settings are saved. Now if you want to delete this blog, you just come down here and you can delete it and it goes away. Now let's look at publishing. This allows you to change from Blogspot, which we're currently publishing on, to a custom domain. This is where you can do it if you change your mind. Formatting. This allows you to set a number of parameters for your blog. First one, how many posts you want to show on the main page. The format for the date format for archives, the timestamp format, and you can just pick out of the drop down box here which ones you want. Your time zone, set this to your current time zone. Convert line breaks, basically when you're in the editor and you hit the return key or the enter key to switch lines, If you have this on, it'll stick this HTML character in here, which is a line break character. You're likely going to want that to be on. Show title field. All this means is that if you have that set to yes, then this is going to show up on your blog. You may not want that if you have a custom header that you're going to put on. So you can turn that on or off as you like. Then we have show link field. This allows you to have a related link on each of your posts. So you can set that to yes or no. And enable float alignment allows you to align your text and images using the division tags. Now your post template, this allows you to put some code at the top of each of your posts before you post it. For instance, if you wanted a link up top or an image, let's say you want an image, you could say something like this. So every time you make a post now, it's going to bring up this part of the code, and all you have to do is put your image URL in here. So that's how you can use that. Of course, this is totally optional and you can clear it out. Well, let's save our settings. Comments. This allows you to control how your comments are handled. Now, first of all, you can decide if you want your comments to show or if you want them hidden. Of course, selecting hide doesn't mean they go away, they just don't show on your blog. Now you can pick who you want to be able to comment on your blog, whether anyone, whether they're anonymous users or not, registered users, users with Google accounts, or only members of this blog. So you can check how you want it handled there just by selecting the box. Now, comments default for posts. This allows you to set by default whether you're going to allow posts to have comments on them. You can change that at the post level. So you can either enable it or disable it on new posts right here. Whether you want to show or hide your backlinks. And then you have the same thing here, backlink default for posts, whether you want to show the backlinks or not. Your timestamp, you can set how you want that to look on here. Then you have your comment form message. You can put some HTML in here that you want in your form. Here you can set whether you want to use a pop-up window for your comments or whether you want them entered in line. Comment moderation. This allows you to review comments before they actually go live on your blog. Check your preference here. You can put an email address in here if you want to be notified when somebody posts a comment. You leave it blank if you don't want to be notified. Word verification. This allows you to stop some spam by having people key in a random string before their comment goes live. And whether you want to show profile images on the comments, people can have images attached to their profile, and when they make a comment, you can decide whether you want to see their images there or not. And then the notification email for comments, if you want to be notified, you can put that in here. Once you're done with that, we just save the settings. Now we can look at archiving. Here you can choose how often you want your posts archived. And down here, if you want each of your posts to have their own pages as well. Once you have that, you can save your settings. Now, site feeds. Your feed allows people to look at your site via an RSS reader. So you can pick here how you want things to appear on there. If you want the full text indicated, or if you want it short or none. You select what you want here. If you're using FeedBurner or some other program to manage your RSS feeds, you can put the feed in here that's supplied from that service. In your post feeds, you can put an advertisement just by putting the code in the bottom here. Once you're happy with all that, just save your settings. Now, your email. From here, when you post to your blog, you can decide who's going to get emailed when you post just by putting a comma-separated list of emails in here. And down here, you can actually email your blog from your email client and email your posts in. All you have to do is pick an address in between here, and your address would be, in this case, tim569 dot whatever we put in here at blogger.com. And then we can choose whether we want the emails to be published right to our blog immediately, or if we want them saved as drafts so we can come back in later and check it out before we publish them. Once you're happy with that, just click Save Settings. OpenID. OpenID is where people set up a centralized account. If you go to openid.net, people can set up a centralized ID that they can use for all their posting on different blogs and so on. So what you can do here is you can add in here the trusted sites. Now to enable OpenID, you have to go back to your comments. And we've already checked that here, registered users including OpenID. So we've actually already enabled OpenID on this particular blog. You can also use your own account to post on other people's blog once you set up an OpenID. And then lastly, let's go look at permissions. Here you can give people permission to actually author your blog. All you have to do is click Add Author, and then you can invite people to write on your blog just by putting their email address in here. Then down here, your blog readers, you can pick if you want anybody or only people I choose, or only blog authors to be able to read your blog. Okay, in the next part, we're going to go over setting up the layout of our blog and start posting. Now let's talk about laying out our blog. When you go into layout, you'll see a screen like this. What we have on here right now are two elements that come standard on here. What you can do is you can go in and edit them. Pop-up blog pops up, and then you can give it a title here, and then there's other settings in each of them. They'll be different for each element. About me, this is where you can set up something about yourself. Just change the title, and then you can add whatever information you want on here. So those are the two that are already on here when you set your blog up, but there are more. All you have to do is click on Add a Page Element, and then a pop-up comes up like this, and then you can choose from any of the elements that you want in here, and there are quite a lot of them. Since we're actually concentrating on marketing in this particular blog, I'm going to use things that I would use in a marketing blog. Of course, you can use any of the elements you want to use, but I'm going to concentrate on a few here that I would use. First of all, I would use a link list. This allows you to link to your other sites. So I'd add this to the blog just by clicking on there. And up here, we can give it a title. Then we can give it the number of links we want to show. If we want to just show them all, then we leave it blank. And then we can sort it either alphabetically or verse alphabetically, or not sorted at all. Down here is where we add our links and the name of the link. So we just put our URL in there and the name of it here, and then we click Add Link. And then you'll see that the link shows up down here. When you've added all of your links, all you have to do is save the changes, and then that page element appears on your blog. Now what we can do also is we can move these around just by putting your mouse on it, holding down the left mouse key, and then dragging it where you want it. Like so. Okay, now let's go back to page elements again. Now I would also probably add a picture. And up here we give it a title and a caption, and then we upload our image here. Or we can get it from the web. So all you have to do is click Browse, and then browse your computer for the image, or type in the URL down here. So we just pick the image from our computer, and then it uploads it here. And we just save this. Now back into page elements. Now to monetize our blog, I would usually put AdSense on it as well. So we'll add to the blog. What you need to do here is you need to type in your AdSense email address and apply if you don't have an account. Otherwise, you can sign into your AdSense account just by clicking here. And then you give your AdSense ID in here, and then you sign in. Once you've signed in, you can pick the layout that you want here. Then you can pick the colors. We're going to blend into the template here, or match a template. There's lots of things you can do. Just pick the one you want here. You have a preview down here. Okay, so let's change it to that. Then when you're happy with that, all you have to do is click Save Changes. Now we're likely going to want to move some things around here again. Just save that however you want. Now let's go back to Page Elements again. Now down here you could add some text to your blog as well. If you want to add an introduction, you could do that by adding this block. What I want to do is I want to add an opt-in box. So I'm going to add this here, the HTML JavaScript. So let's add that. Then what I would do is I could put a title in here, and then down here I would paste in my JavaScript code. So I signed into my autoresponder and I got the code, so I just paste it in here and then save the changes. Now back to Page Elements again. And I might want to add a poll here as well. So we click Add to Blog, and then we can give our questions and answers here. We can add more answers by clicking down here, and then we can click if we want them to be able to have multiple answers. Give it a poll closing date and we can add it. I'm not going to add that one, but one more that I do want to go over briefly is the slideshow. Let's just have a look at how this works. I'm not actually going to add it in this case, but I just want to show you how this works because it is kind of a neat feature. What this does, it allows you to bring in slideshows from a number of sites: Flickr, PhotoBucket, Picasa, and even other. You can just set a feed up here. For instance, if we look at Flickr, if you have a user account at Flickr, you can just select user, put your username in here, and it will bring in all of your pictures and show it as a slideshow on your blog. Same deal with Picasa. You can go by keyword or album here. So if you have an album on Picasa, you just put your username in here, and then you can pick your album and it'll show up on your blog as well. PhotoBucket. Now PhotoBucket, you just key in a keyword here and it'll bring in related keywords and show them as a slideshow on your blog. And other, this allows you to bring in a feed, an RSS feed from another site. So if you have your photos hosted where there's an RSS feed to the photos, you can place the feed in here. Then you can click if you want to open it in a new window or if it's just going to open in the same window it's in. So that's how that works if you want to add a slideshow. Okay, in this case I now have everything I want on my blog. So last thing you would do is make sure you have everything the way you want it. Now if you want to remove something from here, for instance, I'm going to remove the About Me. So all you have to do is go into Edit, and then down at the bottom here, just remove Page Element, and that's now gone. Okay, when you're happy with that, just save it by clicking up here at the top. Okay, now there's some other things we can set here. For instance, our navigation bar. We can select from any one we want here. Now you can actually set this too. We've already set this before, but you can also set it from here. And there's a few more options on here as well. You can bring an image in, and then you can tell it where you want it placed over here. I'm just going to leave that alone. And then down here, you can configure your blog posts. All right, so once we're happy with all that, now what we can do is we can set our fonts and colors. So you can change any of these types of elements here, and then you can pick from the palette on this side. You can also edit HTML. This allows us to go into the template and actually change code in the template. You do not want to do this unless you know what you're doing. And then if you want to pick a new template, you can just do it right here. Pick a new template and then save it. That's really all there is to setting it up. Now let's go have a look at what our blog looks like now. Now there's no content on here yet. We haven't posted anything, but we did set up our page elements. We set up our description, our title up here. We have our image. We have our subscribe part we put here. We have our related sites, and we have our Google AdSense ads showing. So now all we have to do is start posting. So let's just make a quick post. We'll just go back into the back end. Then we'll go to posting. And we can create a post. We can edit posts here. We can moderate comments. This is where we do all of this. Of course, we have no posts on here, so the first thing we're going to do is create a post. Now remember, when we set up our posting template, we set some code to show up automatically. Let's just go to edit HTML. And you'll see that we put in image source equals, and we put in blanks, which it filled in by itself here. So we can just either, at this point we would fill out what we want in here, but we could go and take that out of our post template if we don't want it there anymore. Let's just go back to compose mode, and then you can add your post content in here. We also can add a link in here, which we set up in our settings as well, that we were going to allow a link with the post. And then if we wanted our title to link to a website, all we have to do is put the link in down here. Now we go ahead and we can write our post. You'll see that we have a rich text editor in here that allows us to do a number of things, add pictures in and set the fonts and all of this stuff, set the alignment, just like a small word processor. So you can just go ahead and type your post in here. Okay, so I've added some code here in compose mode. Now if I want to add some HTML, I could just click edit HTML and I can paste my HTML code directly in here. In this case, I'm going to want to put another web form in here, so I'm going to go ahead and paste the HTML code in. So I'll just paste the code in there. And when we're done, we can just publish the post. Now there's some other post options you can set over here as well. Click down here and see post options. You can choose whether you want to allow the reader to comment or not. Then you can set the post date and time. By setting this to the future, it won't show up until that future date. Once you're ready, just publish the post. Now let's have a look at our blog. You see that our first post is up, and we have our opt-in form down here. All set. So all we have to do now is start posting on our blog. Everything's all set up. Well, that concludes this video. In the next video, we're going to go over how to set it up on your own hosting and how to get traffic to your blog. Now that our Google account's set up, we can manage all of our blogs from our dashboard when we sign in. You'll see here's our original blog. Now what we can do is we can add another blog. So what I'm going to do is create a blog and show you how to host it on your own site. We're just going to create sort of a skeleton blog here. So I'll just click create a blog. Now what you want to do is go down and click Advanced Blog Setup. Now here, we continue from here, we'll give our blog title. Now we have to give our FTP information so that it can upload to our server for us. So your server name, you put here, usually that's your domain name. Your protocol, we're going to use FTP. Now you need to give it the path to where you want to install your blog. Now, if you're going to install it in a subfolder, you're going to need to make sure that you've already created the subfolder. Now, the other way we could do it is put it in the root directory so we don't have to do any of this, and give it an HTML page name. So let's just call this the blog. The blog URL is the web address where the blog is going to be at. Then down here we have to give it an FTP username. This is provided by your hosting provider. Then you type in your verification code and then we continue. That'll prompt you to choose a template. We'll continue. Okay, now it's created our blog, so just click Start Blogging. And we're all ready to start setting things up just like we did before. Here's our settings. And here's our template. Basically, we do all the same things we did before. Well, let's go ahead and just put a sample post in here. Okay, now we'll just publish the post. Okay. So as we can see, it uploaded the proper files here. Let's open up our blog in a new window. And now this is being served from our own hosting account. Now you still manage everything just like we did before from within here. You edit your posts in here, you moderate your comments. Your settings are all in here the same as they were before. The only thing that's different is you have this publishing tab, and in here is where you set up where your blog actually lives now. So that's really the only difference in setting up your blog on a remote host. So now that we've done that, let's look at how to get traffic to our blog. First thing we're going to look at is a pinging service called Pingoat. Just go to pingoat.com, and then you can roll down and you can fill out the information down here. First, you'll put in your blog name and your blog URL and the XML feed. Now, to get your XML feed, you can just go to your blog and then find where the feed is on here. Just roll down and you'll see subscribe to posts. Just right click on there and then copy the link location. Go back over to Pingoat and then just paste it in here. Now what you want to do is pick the categories that are best suited to your blog. So if we just click General, and that's all we really need for here. Now we just click Go Pingoat. And it is, as you can see here as we roll down, it's pinging all of the blog services. This is called Blog and Ping, and this is a good way to get a great deal of traffic to your blog. And when you notify the pinging service every time you make a post. Now all you have to do now is bookmark this page, and every time you make a post on your blog, just go to your bookmark page and it will ping the services for you. So that's one way to get some traffic to your blog for free. Another way you can get a lot of traffic to your blog is to submit them to blog directories. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this is a lot of work, but it's well worth it. What you want to do is go to the site where the top 55 blog directories are, which you can find a link to in the resources document. What you do is you go through here, and when you get to one of them, all you have to do is look at their terms for their links. You can have featured, regular, and regular link with reciprocal down here. So you can pick which ones fit for you, and then you can submit your feed by clicking on the link down here. Most of these have terms, and then they have a submit place down here. This is going to get you a great deal of traffic when you do this. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in getting traffic to your blog is to do linking. What you want to do is, if you have other blogs, link to this blog. And to do that, all you have to do is go to your admin area on your dashboard. Okay, then go into the related sites. And then what you want to do is you would link to your blogs from within your other blogs. Simple as that. Just put the links in here. And of course, if you're using a different blogging system like WordPress, you just use the links in there to link out to your other blogs. You can also link from traditional websites as well. Now, one more way you can get a link is to go and sign up for a Yahoo account. To do this is very simple. Just log into your Yahoo account and then go down where it says add content and click on that. Then all you have to do is over here it says add RSS by URL. Now go back to your blog, and let's go back to view the blog. Get our RSS feed again. Copy link location. Come back to my Yahoo and put your feed URL in here. Click add. You'll see it here. Just click add to. And it's now been added to your My Yahoo account. Now when we go back, you'll see that it shows up here under our RSS feeds. Alright, so that's 3 ways that you can get traffic to your blog.